This is the highly anticipated 2024 Model 3 Performance. It's Tesla's latest evolution, addressing feedback from the previous model. It's a practical 5-seater that straight from the factory can burn way more expensive cars on the racetrack, at least on paper. But has Tesla made enough improvements to make this a competitive track car? There are so many complaints about the past model, like battery overheating, weight, suspension, and range. We'll learn more today as we put the performance name to the test. And as always, driver skill plays a significant role in track performance. I'm no pro, so my goal today is to evaluate whether Tesla has made this a viable track car and provide initial insights into its performance. Please subscribe to support more content like this. Let's get to it. So I'm gonna get some practice in on the sim. We're in Gran Turismo 7, and look, it's my car. Well, it's the 2023 Model 3 Performance in white. And that's interesting. They say it's 531 horsepower. I think Tesla only rated it for 455, but it is packing a little bit more after some people have dynoed it. And yeah, let's get into Willow Springs. I've done a few laps over the past few days and putting up around a 124, 125. And in real life, if you do under 130, that's pretty good. But tomorrow there's gonna be a lot of traffic. My group is fully booked, so I don't think we'll be honestly doing anywhere near that. And of course it's with my real own car, so I don't want to be pushing like in this video game. All right, 124.3. Whew. Okay, let's not do that tomorrow. All right, we're all set to race. We got the Model 3. Make sure you have the tow hook. All right, y'all, we're starting the first session. A little warm up just to get to know the track a little bit. And man, look at that Taycan GTS. This will be a great comparison. It's a 2023, I think, or a 2022. Just talked to the owner. And when you turn on the track mode, you instantly feel like a jerk in the car. It becomes a little more responsive. There's not much lag when you hit the pedal. Oh, the braking changes a lot actually with the track mode. The car kind of rolls more. It doesn't slow down as much. Almost like a gas car when you are lifted off the pedal, you roll a little bit, but it's not quite exactly the same. It's still slower than a gas car. On the track mode, you could set your finish line like I've done here. It's got a built-in timer, so we can start that. And you'll see when you start it, the timer isn't going right now. It'll go once you pass the finish line. You got your battery temps, motors, brakes, tire pressures. We're running a little hot. It's a hot day. And then G-force is here. Right now we're at 91%. So we'll see how many laps we can get in. Here we go, y'all. Baby. Okay, yeah, this car it's feeling pretty stiff. Throw that weight around. Okay, y'all, just like I remember on the sim. That was pretty fun. Yeah, it looks like we pulled max of almost 1G on the turns. We're not hitting any kind of limits or anything like that yet. I'm not feeling the wheels slip. Traction feels pretty good. I'd say the car definitely feels on the heavier side. Yeah, just that one lap actually only took off 1%. So car's doing good on range right now. Power feels good. Yeah, I'd say this car is leaning on the understeer side. Yeah, one of those turns I was really understeering, hearing the wheel skidding on the outside. We might try to adjust that later. Man, this bank turn is fun. Hit the straight. I don't know why, but that Taycan is limping right now. Let's see if we can catch up to our group. I'm pushing a little harder now. Oh, man. Oh yeah, this is real good. Braking a little late. All right, let's blast it. Oh, this is a good lap. This is a good lap. All right, we did catch up to the group. So yeah, that Taycan had to go off. All right, we did our first lap. That was definitely a lot better. That was, I'd say, our first real lap. The Taycan left, so we just had a lot of time to just go at it. We're definitely gonna have to let off on some of this pressure. All right, y'all, we just finished our first session. That was just a warm-up session. Learned the lines a little bit. It pretty much felt just like the sim, but with all the G-forces. Makes it a little scarier and a lot more fun. And yeah, a few notes on the car. So one, I'm running way too high of pressures. I was like hitting 46 PSI. It was getting really hot. Tires are getting hot, so I just bled them down to 35 PSI. No problem with the battery temperature right now. Battery temperature was fine. Brake temps were fine. You know, we weren't going crazy or anything. It was just a warm-up lap. Motor temps were the only thing that were getting up there. And yeah, right now we're parked. So the track mode is going, keeping it cool. You can feel a crazy amount of heat coming from just everywhere around here. And you can hear that. So I think it just pumps the heat below. But yeah, we had a Audi S7 in our group. That one's all-wheel drive. We had a Porsche Taycan GTS. That one had to actually go off track for, I don't know, I think it had like a problem with its wheel or something. But when he left, it gave us a lot of space that we can just kind of like rip it a little bit for our warm-up lap. Hit about 1.3 Gs on some of the bank turns. And yeah, I was getting to the point where I hear a little screeching in the tires. I hope it's gonna be a lot better now that I've dropped the tire pressures a lot. But yeah, this car is amazing. Haven't been able to rip the straight line speed yet. But the handling, I'm sure, is much better than the old performances. They've done a really good job. And honestly, I'd rather be driving this car than the Plaid. This one's like 800 pounds lighter. I feel like the suspension is definitely more tuned for racing. Like the springs are really stiff. You can feel it in your everyday road driving, unfortunately. But yeah, I'd much rather be in this than a Plaid on the track. The tire pressure finally updated. Hopefully we can get a lot better grip. And we're starting this one at 73%. I'm hoping for no more than 20% drop on this session. Last session was pretty light. You know, not much hard acceleration or anything like that. So I'm anticipating closer to like 20% here, but let's find out. And here we are starting session 2. Now there's a lot of traffic this session and my camera's overheated. So here's a few highlights. And we'll have a full uncut lap in session 3. Okay, we got some gravel on the road. And on this first turn, you can see that someone went off in the previous session and kicked up a lot of gravel and dirt on the road. They cleared it up later. And we're able to get the tires screeching a lot more in the session. Here's one of the main straights. This is the second straight. And this one you could probably push around 100 before you start braking. And I went off the track a lot on the sim on that turn. Also, you can see that the new bucket seats are keeping me pretty held into the seat. Can you imagine being in the old non-bucket seats of the old Performance? Man, that would suck. And in front of us is one of the instructors. He's driving an Audi S4, and yeah, he's a very good driver. Definitely much better than me. And you can see we're just caught up behind a few cars here. That was pretty much the theme through most of the day. And here we're hitting the kind of turns that can get around 1.3 Gs. Could probably push it more, but again, I don't want to risk damaging this car. Didn't have track insurance for the day, that's optional. But if you go out on the track, definitely consider it if you have an expensive car. Alright y'all, I'm gonna do a quick download with y'all after the second session. So that session was mainly focused on like learning how to pass people. They call them point buys. But yeah, after lowering the tire pressures, the car felt a lot better through the turns. The tires were still screeching, but it felt a lot more in control. After the main straight, the first straight, someone must have gone off the track because there was so much gravel on that first turn. So all the cars had to slow down going past that. And yeah, really the battery temperatures are totally fine on this car. Like, it's not even hitting the yellow portion. I don't even know how to see the actual temperature itself, but yeah, it's staying out of the red. I've talked to the Civic Type R guy. His oil temperatures are a little higher than ideal, but still in working order. So yeah, this car is just keeping up just fine with ICE cars. We're not really using the brakes that much on these first 2 sessions at least. Hopefully we could use them a little more on the third session where we are on our own. We don't have to follow a car and we can just drive you know, at our own will. And I'll try not to go off the road and see how we do. But yeah, in terms of battery, this car is doing way better than I thought it would. So we started this session at 73%. We're now at 56%. So 17% usage. Yeah, really phenomenal. Again, we're not going full speed yet, but for 6 to 8 laps, 17%, that is doing really well. The Type R actually has to go refuel right now, and I'm still at 56%. So take that for what it is, but really this car is basically, I don't feel like it's a hindrance, at least on the track. I can get 3 full sessions in with decent battery and still get home, or at least get to the nearest supercharger without a problem. Yeah, if anything, maybe one change I would make is adding on some racing tires. These tires are pretty good. They're fine, you know, better than your average road tire, but yeah, it still doesn't really compare to some racing slicks or semi-slicks. It's really hot outside. What does it say right now? It says 97 on my car thermostat, but yeah, all the cameras are overheating. The track is really hot, yet the battery is still fine. So actually a lot of these ICE cars are probably not putting out as much power. The air density isn't as good. It's harder to cool the engine and such. But yeah, as long as this battery is staying cool, I think we're doing fine here. And then I think it was Drag Hub or someone who did a video showing the acceleration drop off at different percent charge. And when you're at 50% on this car, you're still getting well under, actually like low threes from 0 to 60. So this car isn't really limiting power that much at 50%. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this third session without charging. I mean, we're at 56%. And yeah, that gives us more time to enjoy the track and less worry about charge. So this car has definitely surpassed my expectations when it comes to range, at least. On the suspension, I'm following like an Audi S4 and an Audi S7. The S7 looks like it's doing really well through some of the turns. Of course, I can catch up much faster on the acceleration on the straights. But, you know, I'm still learning how to do these turns, and we're gonna see if we can push it a little bit more. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and adjust our track mode now. Let's create a new profile. Let's call this oversteer. Create a profile. And now let's turn this handling balance a little bit more. I don't wanna go too crazy with it. Let's see what it says here. Yeah, so I'm gonna turn this maybe a third of the way there, +3. Well, I feel like this is really, really far. So let's do like 2 or 3. I feel like it's a sweet spot. Let's go 2, don't wanna screw around too much. Stability assist, still minimal. Post-drive cooling, yep. And yeah, let's try this profile, see how it does. All right, y'all, we're about to do our third session. This one is free reign, so we can go as fast as we want. Don't have to follow a car. And we'll see if we can push a little harder. I did change the handling balance to be a little bit more oversteery. Just a little bit, knocked it up 2 notches. But yeah, starting with 55%, we've already put in like, I don't know, 16 laps. And yeah, the car's doing pretty good. And just remember, I'm just an amateur driver. I wonder if we can overheat this battery if we get a really good driver in here. I'd be curious to see. But so far, I'm not running into any battery issues whatsoever. But we'll be able to find out a little bit more from this session where I get to push it a little harder. And here we go. We left that Honda Civic in the dust. This is just some casual light driving right now. That was a bad turn. These cars are letting us go. This is great. Life is good. Ooh, got a little wheel slippage there. We're pushing this car a little more. I barely have to hit the brakes. These corners are so long and flowy that I just let go and let the regenerative braking do its thing at the right time. And I especially don't have to use the brakes as much when caught behind traffic. And we caught a little traffic here. At least that guy let one guy through. Hopefully on the next straight, the BMW will let us through. All right, we're through. We are through. Let's see if this BMW can hold up against us. Alright, he's not letting us through. Hopefully on the next straight. Yeah, we're throwing around the car's weight. Okay, here we go. Woo, baby. I mean, we're passing every single car we encounter right now. Okay, that was definitely a little more oversteer. Whoa, we brought it to the limit, guys. Okay, yeah, this steering adjustment really helps. I do like it with a little more oversteer. That was a bit sketchy, y'all. We gotta be careful. Let's see if we can catch up to this Porsche. Let's throw this fat ass around. Okay guys, I'm going back in. Oh, let's go. Okay y'all, I'm gonna do a quick recap for you. So we just finished the third session where there's no follow car. You can just go as fast as you want. Definitely a little traffic in the beginning, but we were able to pass each and every car. I was pushing. I think I was pushing more than I should have. The oversteer settings, increasing the oversteer a little bit, really did help, I think. And it even got to the point where I slightly oversteered and lost the front a little bit, but just quickly corrected it. There's still a little bit of assist on. Yeah, let's take a look at the temperatures here. Yeah, so battery temp's still well under. It's not even in the yellow. Motor temps are a little high, but yeah, really haven't hit red at all today. Barely even use the brakes. Yeah, when there's a lot of traffic, you don't need it as much. Finally, when I got clear of some of the traffic, I was able to hit the brakes after the straights. The temperatures creeped up a little bit. Unfortunately, I think my phone overheated, so I don't know if I can show you all of the speeds and stuff like that. I've been running into overheating issues all day with the cameras, but not the car. It is 100 degrees on the dot right now. Extremely hot. Some other gas cars around here have overheated. In my group, which is more of the beginner group, not necessarily overheated, but one guy said his oil temperatures were a little high. But yeah, certainly in the more experienced groups, they're running into some overheating issues on this hot day. But for now, with what I'm doing to this car, it's rock solid. I haven't had to think about the temperatures at all. Yeah, and maybe that will change if we get a clearer track and get a more experienced driver. So that'd be a fun video. See if I can get a really good driver to try to overheat this car. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. This car is built for the track. I would take this over a Plaid any day. To be fair, Plaid does have the all-time track record on Willow Springs, but it's like a really stripped out and modded Tesla with more cooling, obviously less weight, ton of downforce, ton of aero. But yeah, I'd take this over a stock Plaid any day on this track. It feels amazing to drive. And I was passing, Miatas, I was passing a BMW M Series. Yeah, and the Porsche behind wasn't really catching up. Again, this really comes down to the driver, guys. There's a lot more to driving than just your car. But this car gives me the confidence to push. And I may have been a little bit more spirited than I should have as a beginner. Wheels were screeching all the time. It was really fun. It was really fun, and I think this car is an excellent track car. I think Tesla delivered. I think they delivered on their promise. Didn't really get to test out the brakes very much, but the cooling on the battery, excellent. The acceleration, obviously, was just blowing by other cars. The suspension, really stiff, and I'm throwing this weight around in the corners, and yeah, it takes a lot longer for this car to settle its tilting than, let's say, like a GR Corolla or a GR Supra. But still, I'm able to just throw it around. So Tesla, excellent job on this car. People love it. I was talking to people on the track about it. They were curious. Some dudes were even saying like, oh shit, you're throwing that thing around. Nice job. And of course, there's probably some EV haters that just aren't saying anything. But yeah, I'm just happy. We got to see some really cool cars today. Saw a bunch of GT3s. Yeah, saw a lot of GT3s, a lot of Supras, definitely some M2s, M3s, M4s, some Corvettes, and this car is just fun to drive, man. I'd love to see it in the hands of a more experienced driver. But yeah, that's it for today. Stay tuned for the dyno video. I failed the first time trying to bring it to a dyno. They couldn't jack it up, but I think I found one that might work. And please subscribe. I would love to bring you more content like this. And yeah, anything to fuel this new hobby of mine. So thanks, y'all. See you for the next one.